shutter things move. You can see them kind of off to way back off to your left, and some of you have a view of it. Those window shutters open and close depending on the sun and what's going on during the day. So they're automated, and they change. 10,000 police officers in the Los Angeles Police Department. It's one of the smallest police departments in America, actually. The crime rate here has gone down a lot over the years. It's actually down to around 30%. They've been doing a great job. Here on the left, this is the Los Angeles Times building. There's one daily newspaper in Los Angeles. It's called the Los Angeles Times. There are obviously a lot of small newspapers, but this is our one main large one. The Civic Center includes the Los Angeles Music Center. Quite good at fundraising, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's coming up here on your left. It was designed by Frank Gehry, who designed the Guggenheim in Bilbao, Spain. They talked about a fourth theater for a lot of years. You know, they planned on doing 4, but it kind of took a while to get around to it. They started financing the construction in the early 90s, and it didn't finish until 2003. It's on 1.5 hectares. Right is the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion. It was inaugurated in 1964 in December. The O.J. Simpson trial was also held there in 1994. That trial took 9 months. Hall of Records here to the right. Coming up is the United States Federal Court building on the left. For the O.J. Simpson trial, all the cameras were lined up here on the left. Just rows and rows of them, if you've seen it. Kind of like when they did the... what was the royal baby that was born? I don't keep up on my thousands of years before us. The Spanish discovered California in 1542, and this area that we're coming into, this was the original settlement area where they came. 1781, this church on the left was founded. So it was in between the time where the Spanish came up from San Diego and settled here. We'll talk again more about the mission system. Across this parking lot and to the left, about a block or so away, that's where Chinatown is. Chinese arrived here around 1848. Los Angeles' Chinatown is smaller than Vancouver and San Francisco. We'll be going to San Francisco to Chinatown for those of you who opt to do that. And it is one of the places where you can stop on the... You just get out here on the red line and then just walk a couple blocks back to the hotel off to the right. It's the second busiest train route in the U.S. So Los Angeles to San Diego, downtown to downtown is about 2.5 hours. It's faster than flying. So we do have a lot of homeless people here. That park back there is what you're seeing. If it's crowded, it's crowded. And it's still a little bit early, I think, but these and this is kind of what we experienced this morning. The highways can literally turn into a parking lot, but it is perfectly safe during the day. After dark, it's probably a good place to score some drugs. It's that type of atmosphere at night. Exactly. I give you all the information, you know, and you do with it what you want. I'm not judging. Real beautiful building. It housed a very famous luxury department store for many years, Bollock's Wilshire, versus if they're driving by. So you'll see these big windows out in the front, and that's what those were for. But the real main entrance was on the back. And today it houses the Southwestern Law School. And they rent it out sometimes to movie studios and such, so that they can film there if they're looking for Art Deco. The inside is very beautiful. It has an awning out front that says Talmadge. It was built in 1922 by a movie producer as a present to his wife, Norma Talmadge. She was a silent screen actress. And she was immortalized by Gloria Swanson in Sunset Boulevard. That was her. So it's just kind of hard to see. So you see the front here on the left. So there's the lawn, there's the front, and then there's the back. That's the high school in the back, but the front was where the Ambassador Hotel was, and it was frequented by a long list: Charlie Chaplin, Rudolph Valentino, Clark Gable, Lucille Ball, Katharine Hepburn. That type of ilk. And it's the location where in '68 where Robert Kennedy was assassinated. So he was assassinated here, driven back to the Good Samaritan Hospital that we passed. The hotel was closed in 1990, and the architecture in the U.S. It was originally designed for vaudeville shows, and today it showcases Live Nation shows, so more popular things. I'm way too old now to know who anyone is, but here on the left, we will see signs of who's playing. We'll see if anybody knows this. It's a beautiful building, don't you think? It's very clean. Wiltern is, they put the name together, it's Wilshire Boulevard and Western Avenue, which is the cross streets. So you get Wilshire, Western, Wiltern. And so it's called the Wiltern. And how do you go from 11 families to 18 million people? Right? That's a lot of growth for a few hundred years. Amy Schumer, I know Amy Schumer. Naked. Yeah, this over here on the left is Pretty Church, is the Methodist Church. United Methodist Church, here on the corner on the left. And then right across the street here on the right is the Masonic Temple. World War II, right? So there were many war factories built in California, so people came for that. They came to work in the war factories. Beverly Hills. There's another one that we'll see coming up. This on the left, there's this 21 feet tall statue there on the left of John Wayne on his horse, standing in front of the Hustler building. Now, was a bank, now it's the Hustler building. I don't think that they would be too happy about that, or that they are too happy about that, I should say. Rodeo Drive. Yeah, we say it differently. Rodeo. Spelled rodeo, but we say rodeo, you know, because it's fancy. Sorry, false alarm. Audi dealership used to be a BMW dealership. Beverly Hills BMW. Now it's Audi. It's Four Seasons managed hotel. It was used in Pretty Woman, where Richard Gere stayed in the penthouse. It's frequently used in the HBO Entourage television series, if you know that. Lexus on the left. You can tell we're getting close, right? Everything, the prices keep going up on cars. So up on the left is the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. It's got a Canadian flag in front because it is Four Seasons managed and they're Canadian company. It's got the California flag in the front and the US flag in the front. I still feel like, I haven't seen Pretty Woman in a long, long time, but I feel like this is what it looked like all over the world. You've got Tiffany, Lalique, Jimmy Choo, Bulgari, Louis Vuitton, Dior, Harry Winston Jewelers, which is who lends the diamonds and the jewels to the ladies at the Academy Awards, Dolce & Gabbana. Jimmy Choo shoes, women. Those are great shoes. Louis Vuitton, and then of course it goes each way, to the right and to the left a little bit. But this is the main drive. The last time I was here last week driving through here, and there was a $2 million car parked out in front of one of the stores. Of course, there were like 10 people lined up trying to get their picture taken in front of it. So, right here, the Battaglia store on the right. This was designed by famous American architect Frank Lloyd Wright. And Beverly Hills has Christmas decorations. Rodeo Drive does their own, though. They have they put them on the lamppost here, right in the middle, in the median, and they're baccarat crystal chandeliers. That's how you do it, right? That you're on Rodeo Drive. It's necessary to have a Rodeo Drive address. We're going to be turning up here to the right, but if you went down to the left, we're not going to go down there. Do you have, are cupcakes popular where you live? Yes. Yeah, right, they're catching on here. They're really extremely popular. And really the first company to jump on that trend is called Sprinkles. It's a fun name to say, Sprinkles. The owner was a judge on the TV show Cupcake Wars, and usually there's a line out the door to buy cupcakes. And the store, get this, the store, it has an automated cupcake dispensing machine, like an ATM. 24 hours, you can buy your cupcakes. It can hold 1,000 cupcakes when the stores close, and it's sold out every night. And on the left, you're going to see a lot of the Beverly Hills homes. The homes off to the left are between $7 and $100 million. So remember I said the ones back before were $1 million homes, like maybe 1 to 5 million? That was the ghetto. This over here on the left, this is proper. This is Beverly Hills. Each park that we were passing by here has a different tree species. And the parks are really well manicured, as you can see. Off to the left, there's a Beverly Hills sign. Probably the second famous sign that you've probably seen here or there in movies. Celebrities jog in these parks. You can sometimes see them. That's where Zsa Zsa Gabor had a trial there. She slapped a policeman. Remember that? Long time ago now. But you can peek back in there. It's really pretty. You'll go back in there if you go on the Stars tours. They go back in there and see about 40 or so. That's something you do on your own. You don't do that through me, but if that's something you want to do, we can talk about that when we get to Hollywood and we stop. I'll talk to the people who are interested in that. That would mean you will not go to Universal if you do that. This Mercedes dealership on the right is the busiest Mercedes-Benz dealership outside of Germany. Now we're going to see one of Marilyn Monroe's houses. It's not one of her, it's her second to the last house. So it's not super swanky fancy, but that's where she lived. Straight ahead is called West Hollywood. West Hollywood is one of 88 cities in Los Angeles County. And Doheny Drive, which we're turning left on, it divides Beverly Hills, where we are right now, between West Hollywood. It's really striking. Right? It doesn't sound very funny until you see it and you're like, wow. This is the divide. This is where Beverly Hills ends on the left. This is the 600 block, 637 Doheny Drive on the left. We're going to be coming up to, it's hidden a little bit behind some bushes. It's a black looking house. This is the Marilyn Monroe house. 637. White trim, black house. This was, she lived here around the time she was having liaisons avec le Kennedys. Right here, this little modest 637 Marilyn Monroe. She moved to a mansion in Brentwood before she died. But obviously, if she would have lived longer, she probably would have had a much more magnificent place somewhere in Beverly Hills, surely, not on the edge. Coming up is Sunset Boulevard. It's famous for nightclubs, the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, the movie, you know. Especially these days, it's popular with young people. And right here, first thing on the left is the Key Club. This is one of the famous clubs that people like to hang out at. And just in the next block is the Rainbow Room. Marilyn Monroe had her first date with Joe DiMaggio there. Vincent Minnelli proposed to Judy Garland there at the Rainbow